Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Be a signal for or a symptom of. The economic indicators signal that the euro is undervalued. Any nonverbal action or gesture that encodes a message. Signals from the boat suddenly stopped. Communicate silently and non-verbally by signals or signs. The diner signaled the waiters to bring the menu. An electric quantity, voltage or current or field strength, whose modulation represents coded information about the source from which it comes. Any incitement to action. He awaited the signal to start. Notably out of the ordinary. The year saw one signal triumph for the Labour Party. Be a signal for or a symptom of. Express the need or desire for. Be a signal for or a symptom of. Indicate, as with a sign or an omen. Be a signal for or a symptom of. These symptoms indicate a serious illness. Indicate a place, direction, person, or thing, either spatially or figuratively. He indicated his opponents. Give evidence of. The results indicate the need for more work. Suggest the necessity of an intervention, in medicine. Tetracycline is indicated in such cases. To state or express briefly. Indicated his wishes in a letter. Be oriented. The weather vane points north. Sail close to the wind. Repair the joints of bricks. Point a chimney. Any of 32 horizontal directions indicated on the card of a compass. He checked the point on his compass. Be a signal for or a symptom of. Her behavior points to a severe neurosis. A specific identifiable position in a continuum or series or especially in a process. A distinct part that can be specified separately in a group of things that could be enumerated on a list. The main point on the agenda was taken up first. An outstanding characteristic. His acting was one of the high points of the movie. A V shape. The cannibal's teeth were filed to sharp points. A contact in the distributor, as the rotor turns its projecting arm contacts them and current flows to the spark plugs. The dot at the left of a decimal fraction. Direct into a position for use. Point a gun. Indicate a place, direction, person, or thing, either spatially or figuratively. He pointed to the empty parking space. The property of a shape that tapers to a sharp tip. The gun muzzle's direction. He held me up at the point of a gun. A V-shaped mark at one end of an arrow pointer. The point of the arrow was due north. An isolated fact that is considered separately from the whole. A point of information. A wall socket. An instant of time. At that point I had to leave. A very small circular shape. A row of points. Direct the course. Determine the direction of traveling. Give a point to. Intend, something, to move towards a certain goal. A punctuation mark, placed at the end of a declarative sentence to indicate a full stop or after abbreviations. A brief version of the essential meaning of something. Get to the point. A distinguishing or individuating characteristic. He knows my bad points as well as my good points. A geometric element that has position but no extension. A point is defined by its coordinates. A linear unit used to measure the size of type, approximately 1/72 inch. A promontory extending out into a large body of water. They sailed south around the point. A style in speech or writing that arrests attention and has a penetrating or convincing quality or effect. Be positionable in a specified manner. The gun points with ease. Indicate the presence of game by standing and pointing with the muzzle. The dog pointed the dead duck. Mark, a psalm text, to indicate the points at which the music changes. Mark, Hebrew words, with diacritics. Mark with diacritics. Point the letter. 1% of the total principal of a loan. It is paid at the time the loan is made and is independent of the interest on the loan. Sharp end. He stuck the point of the knife into a tree. The object of an activity. What is the point of discussing it? The precise location of something, a spatially limited location. She walked to a point where she could survey the whole street. The unit of counting in scoring a game or contest. He scored 20 points in the first half. Structure displaying a board on which advertisements can be posted. The highway was lined with signboards. A perceptible indication of something not immediately apparent, as a visible clue that something has happened. He showed signs of strain. Mark with one's signature. Write one's name, on. She signed the letter and sent it off. Make the sign of the cross over someone in order to call on God for protection. Consecrate. Any nonverbal action or gesture that encodes a message. Signals from the boat suddenly stopped. Engage by written agreement. They signed 2 new pitchers for the next season. Used of the language of the deaf. An event that is experienced as indicating important things to come. It was a sign from God. Approve and express assent, responsibility, or obligation. Have you signed your contract yet? Communicate silently and non-verbally by signals or signs. He signed his disapproval with a dismissive hand gesture. Astrology, one of 12 equal areas into which the zodiac is divided. Having an indicated pole, as the distinction between positive and negative electric charges. Charges of opposite sign. A character indicating a relation between quantities. Don't forget the minus sign. A fundamental linguistic unit linking a signifier to that which is signified. The bond between the signifier and the signified is arbitrary. A gesture that is part of a sign language. A public display of a message. He posted signs in all the shop windows. Be engaged by a written agreement. He signed to play the casino on December 18th. Communicate in sign language. I don't know how to sign, so I could not communicate with my deaf cousin. Medicine. Any objective evidence of the presence of a disorder or disease. There were no signs of asphyxiation. Place signs, as along a road. Sign an intersection. Any nonverbal action or gesture that encodes a message. Point out carefully and clearly. Provide with traffic signals. Communicate silently and non-verbally by signals or signs. Make conspicuous or noteworthy. Point out carefully and clearly. Provide with traffic signals. Signalize a busy intersection. Communicate silently and non-verbally by signals or signs. Make conspicuous or noteworthy. Producing a strong effect. Gave an impressive performance as Othello. Making a strong or vivid impression. An impressive ceremony. Give instructions to or direct somebody to do something with authority. Give evidence. He was telling on all his former colleague. Narrate or give a detailed account of. Inform positively and with certainty and confidence. I tell you that man is a crook. Express in words. Tell me what is bothering you. A Swiss patriot who lived in the early 14th century and who was renowned for his skill as an archer. According to legend, an Austrian governor compelled him to shoot an apple from his son's head with his crossbow, which he did successfully without mishap. Mark as different. Discern or comprehend. He could tell that she was unhappy. Let something be known. The activity of communicating. The activity of conveying information. They could not act without official communication from Moscow. A connection allowing access between persons or places. How many lines of communication can there be among four people? Something that is communicated by or to or between people or groups. Transmit thoughts or feelings. Be interconnected, afford passage. These rooms intercommunicate. Transmit thoughts or feelings. He communicated his anxieties to the psychiatrist. Transmit information. Please communicate this message to all employees. Receive communion, in the Catholic Church. Transfer to another. Communicate a disease. Administer communion, in church. Be in verbal contact. Interchange information or ideas. He and his sons haven't communicated for years. Join or connect. The rooms communicated. Energy made available by the flow of electric charge through a conductor. They built a car that runs on electricity. A physical phenomenon associated with stationary or moving electrons and protons. Keen and shared excitement. The stage crackled with electricity whenever she was on it. Energy made available by the flow of electric charge through a conductor. Energy made available by the flow of electric charge through a conductor. The power went out around midnight. Of a government or government official, holding an office means being in power. During his first year in power. A state powerful enough to influence events throughout the world. A mathematical notation indicating the number of times a quantity is multiplied by itself. A very wealthy or powerful businessman. Possession of the qualities, especially mental qualities, required to do something or get something done. Danger heightened his powers of discrimination. Possession of controlling influence. The deterrent power of nuclear weapons. One possessing or exercising power or influence or authority. The mysterious presence of an evil power. Physical strength. Physics. The rate of doing work, measured in watts, equals joule per second. Supply the force or power for the functioning of. The gasoline powers the engines. An act of urging on or spurring on or rousing to action or instigating. The incitement of mutiny. Something that incites or provokes, a means of arousing or stirring to action. The act of exhorting, an earnest attempt at persuasion. Needed encouragement. Unfriendly behavior that causes anger or resentment. Something that incites or provokes, a means of arousing or stirring to action. Needed encouragement. The result was a provocation of vigorous investigation. An act of urging on or spurring on or rousing to action or instigating. Something that incites or provokes, a means of arousing or stirring to action. Indicate, as with a sign or an omen. Commence in a manner calculated to bring good luck. They auspicated the trip with a bottle of champagne. Indicate, as with a sign or an omen. These signs bode bad news. Indicate, as with a sign or an omen. Ancient Rome, a religious official who interpreted omens to guide public policy. Predict from an omen. Make a prediction about. Tell in advance. Indicate, as with a sign or an omen. Foreshadow or presage. Celebrate by some ceremony or observation. The citizens marked the anniversary of the revolution with a march and a parade. Insert punctuation marks into. Establish as the highest level or best performance. Assign a grade or rank to, according to one's evaluation. Mark homework. Remove from a list. A symbol of disgrace or infamy. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain. A visible indication made on a surface. Some previous reader had covered the pages with dozens of marks. A person who is gullible and easy to take advantage of. A number or letter indicating quality, especially of a student's performance. She made good marks in algebra. A perceptible indication of something not immediately apparent, as a visible clue that something has happened. Something that exactly succeeds in achieving its goal. Hit the mark. An indication of damage. Formerly the basic unit of money in Germany. A distinguishing symbol. The owner's mark was on all the sheep. Apostle and companion of St. Peter, assumed to be the author of the second gospel. To accuse or condemn or openly or formally or brand as disgraceful. A marking that consists of lines that cross each other. Make small marks into the surface of. A reference point to shoot at. His arrow hit the mark. The shortest of the four Gospels in the New Testament. Put a check mark on or near or next to. Mark off the units. Be a distinctive feature, attribute, or trait, sometimes in a very positive sense. Attach a tag or label to. Notice or perceive. Mark my words. Mark with a scar. Make underscoring marks. A written or printed symbol, as for punctuation. His answer was just a punctuation mark. Designate as if by a mark. This sign marks the border. Make or leave a mark on. The scouts marked the trail. The impression created by doing something unusual or extraordinary that people notice and remember. It was in London that he made his mark. A sign of something about to happen. He looked for an omen before going into battle. Indicate, as with a sign or an omen. Indicate, as with a sign or an omen. Make a prediction about. Tell in advance. Indicate, as with a sign or an omen. Indicate, as with a sign or an omen. Imagine or consider beforehand. It wasn't as bad as I had prefigured. A sign of something about to happen. Indicate, as with a sign or an omen. A foreboding about what is about to happen. Make a prediction about. Tell in advance. Indicate, as with a sign or an omen.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.